Welcome back to the Living in Savannah channel. I'm James Headley. Today's episode is the conclusion of last week's look at Zillow's survey of loan officers entitled 15 Home Buying Myths to Unlearn Right Now. In part one, I went through the first 7 of these myths, so if you haven't already watched that video, you may want to do so first. As a reminder, I'm going to go through some of these without much comment if they are not really applicable to our audience or market context, while I spend a bit more time on others providing perspective from the landings real estate market. Thanks as always for subscribing, liking, and sharing, and now let's get started with myth number 8. You shouldn't buy until you can afford your forever home. Ultimately, this comes down to each individual buyer's life context, in my opinion. While it's a good general rule that if you don't expect to own a home for more than at least 3 to 5 years, you may want to wait to buy. I think there are very good reasons why a landings buyer might want to ignore that rule. What if you are certain that the landings lifestyle is for you? Are you prepared to defer your enjoyment of golf, racket sports, boating, the natural beauty of Skidaway Island, etc., until your forever home becomes available? Sure, there are closing costs involved with both buying and selling a home, as well as moving costs and the like. But how confident are you in your ability to foresee the direction of the real estate market here on Skidaway, as well as potentially wherever you currently live and are selling a home? And last I checked, club initiation fees are only going in one direction. So, for example, if you waited from 2022 until now for your forever home, your initiation fee may have gone up as much as $20,000. Of course, that's equivalent to a lot of moving and closing costs, not to mention missed opportunities to enjoy life with your new landings friends. Brings us to myth number 9, and that's a 30-year fixed mortgage is always the best choice. This is a conversation best left to you and your eventual mortgage provider, but there are a lot of variables to consider, including how long you plan to stay in your home, where rates are today and where you expect them to be, need for short versus long-term cash flow, etc. As with a number of the following items, let me just say that I'm happy to recommend a few lenders for you to speak with before beginning your home search in earnest. Myth number 10, you can't buy a home if you have student loans. Let's just simply say that's false and move on. Myth number 11, you have to pay the seller's asking price to buy a home. It's really surprising that the lender surveyed by Zillow came up with this as a supposed actual belief to dispel. In some market circumstances, yes, paying full asking price or even over asking price is the right strategy. But even more often in what still remains a seller's market, historically in the landings, we can negotiate a final selling price below the asking price. Suffice it to say, it is case by case or home by home to be more precise, and getting the right read on this one is one of the top reasons why choosing the right realtor to represent you is so important. Myth number 12, you need excellent credit to buy a home. Another one with limited applicability to the audience here, where the average home price is approaching $1 million. So let's just move on to myth number 13. Fall and winter are bad times to buy a home. There is no bad time to buy a home at the landings. I don't say that facetiously. Just as the enjoyment of all of the amenities here is year-round, so is the real estate market. So let's talk whenever the time is right for you to buy a home. Myth number 14, you cannot buy a home if you are self-employed. Another seemingly obvious falsehood and odd inclusion on this list, so let's just move on to the final item on Zillow's list. Myth number 15, all lenders are the same when buying a home. As noted elsewhere, I'd be happy to make some recommendations of lenders for you to speak with, and of course, talk to the banker banks where you have established relationships as well before even looking for lenders would be my recommendation. It is definitely worth shopping not just rates, but the overall terms and your gut feelings when it comes to such a large purchase. Well, that brings us to the end of this 2-part episode. I hope at least some of this has been useful and informative, and as always, it'd be my pleasure to speak directly with you about your particular circumstances anytime. Until then, and until the next episode, thank you for continuing to subscribe, share, and like.